Imagine a scenario. You are on a call, with a potential client. You are discussing what is it exactly that you do and how it can help them. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, they say, "I am not interested." Now, what would you say? Take 5 seconds. Now, here are the two worst things that you could do. The first thing that you definitely shouldn't do is to ask, well, why are you not interested? Because what this does is that it triggers fight mode, both in you as well as in your client or your potential client. Now, what I mean by this is that prospects now feel like they have to explain or justify themselves, which immediately puts their guard up, and no matter what you say, you cannot close them because they simply won't listen to you. They do not care because they can sense that you are being pushy and that you are just trying to sell them something, and that you don't give a right? You don't give a damn about what they have to say. Now, the second worst thing that you could do is to say nothing and give up. For example, no worries, have a great day, goodbye, or ask for permission if you can send them an email, which is stupid because, like, if they are not interested and you ask for permission to send them an email, the chances are that they will never ever open the email. Never ever. Out of 100 people that you send an email to, maybe like 2 of them will actually open it. Other remaining 98 will never ever even bother to open it. Now, in both of these scenarios, you take this objection personally. You feel like the prospect is rejecting you, but in reality, they are simply just rejecting the service or the product that you sell, and in the most cases it has nothing to do with you at all whatsoever. So do not take it personally. Now, there are a few things that you could do when you hear this type of objection, and what I like to do the most is to enter a find out mode. You want to find out the real reason why they are not interested, but you don't want to do it the pushy way, just by asking them, "Hey man, why are you not interested?" What you want to do is to acknowledge this objection and then just continue asking them questions. So you acknowledge it, but you don't give it much value. You don't give it much weight. I usually say something like, "I get it," or "I knew you would say that," or "makes sense." And then I just try to find out more about the prospect and his problems and his current situation and his desired outcome. So that way they feel like I genuinely care about them and want to help them, and not that I just want to sell them something. You don't want to sell them, you want to make them feel understood. You want to make them feel heard. Let me repeat that. You do not want to sell them, you want to make them feel heard and understood. Now, the second thing you could do is to say, "Hey John, before I get off the phone, what might have to happen before you begin looking for XYZ?" Then a prospect will tell you what has to happen for them to consider buying your product or your service. And you will take notes. And if it's something that has to change or happen on their end, for example, it's not the right time because they are changing their locations and that kind of stuff, then you can say something like this. "Okay, I understand. Let me ask you a question. The next time you are looking for XYZ, could I be the first person in line that you speak to?" Then in 99% of cases, they will say, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And then you just ask them, "Okay, can I send you more information so that if the thing that has to change on their end changes, you'll have it in front of you?" And then in most cases they will say yes, and what that means is that you now have a perfect excuse to send them an email with more information. Now, if it's something that has to change or happen on your end, such as your offer or your pricing, then you simply just take notes of what they have said. For example, they don't want to buy from you because you don't have enough testimonials, or you only work on 3 months contract basis, right? Or something like that. And before you get off the phone, you want to make sure that they give you permission to reach out to them when X changes or happens. And when X changes or happens, you just follow up on them and mention the valuable data. You mention your notes, which will make them think, oh, you know, this guy actually cares about me. He knows what I want. He remembers what I've said. That's awesome. And once again, they will feel heard and understood and not just being sold, which makes a huge difference when it comes to sales. Now, another thing that you could do, especially when prospects have this type of objection early on, before you even really get a chance to explain them what you do and how it can help them, is to say something like this. Yeah, I mean, I totally understand that you are not interested, and based on what you've seen so far, I wouldn't be either, because the truth is that you've seen almost nothing. You've seen just the tiny tip of the iceberg. And then, once again, what you should do is to find out a bit more about their current situation, their current problems, and their desired outcome by asking them questions. Let's say you are a social media marketing agency and you help your clients get more customers through the door every single month, right? What you can do, or what you can ask is, may I ask you, how many clients a month are you getting through the door? And then they say, well, it's not good, you know, I'm getting like 5 clients through the door. It's not good. And one important thing to remember is that you should always repeat what they say, so they really feel heard. So it's not like an interview that you just ask a question, then they answer, and then you ask another question without even you know, thinking about what they have just answered, you know. So you really want to make them feel understood and heard. And great way to do this is to repeat what they say, or ask maybe something like, okay, could you unwrap it for me? Could you tell me a little bit more about that so I have a better understanding? Could you explain it in more detail? And so on. And you just really repeat what they say, and you try to find out like what it is that is holding them from making the decision, from, you know, them buying your service or your product. Now, after you find out the reason, you should definitely try to set up a call with them. Here's an example. Now, I know that we are busy, and I'm busy too, so that's why I would like to schedule a really, really short Zoom call with you, not longer than like 20 minutes. You know, not talking about weather and football and that kind of stuff. You know, I'll be straight to the point and show you exactly what it is that we do and how it can help you get from A to B, from their current situation to their desired outcome. And then just by the end of this, you just ask them, are you opposed to that? And most of them will say no. Let's do it. Yeah, sure. And then you just book them into your calendar, and then you get another chance to close them.